Hello? Femme fatale era. Hello, everyone! My name is Kate. And eto na po ang... I haven't done this in a while. And yeah, life update po muna. Yun, dami na nangyari sa 2021 ko. And you know, my hair got longer. Naiipit ko na siya. I got a brand new setup. I've got new books. And umaasenso po tayo. Hindi na po homemade. Binili ko na po. Pero binili to nung last Sunday. Nakalagay lang siya sa rep. Ano lasa? Masarap pa rin. Pangit na lang yung pearl. Ayun. Tapos, fully vaccinated na ako. Ano ba? Ano ba nangyari? And also, I look hotter as ever. Oh, diba? Ganda nun. May bayad yan. So, yan. So, a lot has happened in 2021. And also, I read quite a lot in 2021, but not that a lot. So, yan. These are the books I've read in 2021. January to February. So, for January, tinuloy ko yung Pride and Prejudice that I have been reading since December 2020. So, I read this with its audiobook sa Spotify. This was just the blueprint for the perfect enemies to lovers na trope. And the way Mr. Darcy was just written as this weird, socially awkward person, and Lizzie being this standoffish girl, just the perfect match. Let me tell you, one of the biggest things that I like about this book is its title. Kasi yung title niya just sums up the whole thing. It's about two people's pride and prejudices that inhibits them, that comes in the way of them experiencing and finding happiness, di ba? And you can't really blame, you can blame both of them kasi pareha silang at fault for being way too judgmental that quickly and not knowing each other at first pa. So yan. And let me tell you, Jane Austen, this bitch, she just creates the best dialogues, monologues for professing your love to someone else. I mean, the way, oh my god, napaka-hashtag female gaze niya. Kasi it's really grounded and from within. It's really like, nakalagay sa notes ko, parang it stems from this longing and yearning talaga. Like, the love that Jane Austen writes is bearing your soul to somebody, bearing your everything to someone, and its vulnerability at its finest, and finding comfort to this. You're finding your comfort person. Yon. So it's this, I wanted to read again. Kaso, yun nga, I want to read her other works pa. Para may may Jane Austen mga works pa niya ako na alam. So, ang planning ko na next na basahin sa kanya is Persuasion. Pero ayun nga, wala pa akong time. So, next, binasa ko ng January to March is Bridgerton series. Ayun nga, I made a whole video about this na kaka-edit ko lang last week ng isa. So, ayun, just watch those videos. So, basically, it's like Pride and Prejudice with just more sex. Diba? Next, March, I read Austenland by Shannon, Hale, and it is just a light read book. Very witty, very funny. And I think, naging Tumblr famous siya kasi yung dedication niya is about Colin Firth. Ang nakalagay dito is, for Colin Firth, you are a really great guy, but I'm married, so I think we should just stay friends. So, diba? Very funny. So, ayun. It's basically about a girl, Jane Hayes, who is a person who's just a Jane Austen fangirl. Me. Tapos, yun nga, she's living her normal, mundane, boring, loveless life. Tapos, yun nga, her aunt gives her a pass, or a money ata, a pass to go to Austenland. Now, Austenland is basically a theme park, ex-theater, ex-costume party of a Jane Austen book. Yan. So, yun yung, the guests will stay at that Austenland and pretend to be in a Jane Austen book. O diba? Very cute. Sana may ganun in real life. Ayun. So, nangyari, merong guy doon na parang Mr. Darcy Tapos, si ate Jane nyo, na-inlove sa isang stable boy. Na-inlove siya, gardener ata. Basta yun, na-inlove siya dun sa hindi kay Mr. Darcy. I'm like, girl, what? It's stupid. Pero yun nga, pero may plot twist. Nung sa yung mismong guy na nagpapretend kay Mr. Darcy, na-inlove kay Jane. Ay, drama. Basta yun. Tapos, in a modern time today, yung ginawa ni Mr. Darcy sa may dulo is just a red flag. It's a federal offense. Charot, basta yun. Very weird kasi sinundan niya si Jane from the Austenland hanggang sa airport, hanggang sa Amerika. O diba? Like, okay ka lang. Pero ayun, it's still fiction. It's fun. It's funny, light read. Tapos, it's just very cute. It's like a dedication, an ode to Jane Austen fangirls. It's basically a Jane Austen fanfic. Yun siya. So, next na binasa ko for March is Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. So, it's a classic drama for a reason. Kasi, yung 5 dramatic structures, yung exposition, rising action, denouement, climax, yung mga ganon, na-perfect niya. And I read this 3 times for our script analysis class. Very gory siya, very weird. Kasi, ayun nga, alam niyo naman yung meron kay Oedipus, yung mother niya si Yocasta, na naging asawa niya. Ay, kadiri. Tapos, ayun, it's incest at its finest. Pero, ayun nga, you kind of feel for Oedipus din kasi nga, his only fault was wanting to know the truth. And once he knew the truth, ay na, saan dumakmak na kaguhan na nangyari sa buhay niya? Like, boom! Ah, Nor! My mother! Nor! I saw your baby! Ah, Nor! And, yun nga, na-emphasize nga, lalo na when it was written in stage in Greek times, na-emphasize yung belief nila na everything is all up to fate, everything is all up to the gods. You have no control over what your life is. Parang randomized button ka lang of the universe. So yun. If this book is good, if you want drama, if you want to go dive deeper into theater. So, April, May 2021. First I've read ng mga months na yun is Red, White, and Royal Blue by McQuiston. So, this book is just cute. Very rom-com, basically about a royal monarch from the UK finding love to the son of the American president. Ganarn. So, about siya in making history. So, that's cute. Yan, it delves on Western politics, race, tapos in being gay, tas inter-society. What I like about this book is how all the characters are genuinely interesting and very charming. And like, you kind of want to root for the characters because they're all very entertaining and they all have this cute quirks with them. So ayun, and it's just so easy to read. Like, I cannot emphasize it enough kasi napaka-easy to read niya. And the pacing is great. Tapos, it's the type of book you can finish in one sitting talaga. Like, may problema na nangyari sa gitna. Pero it's solved by bacon and cheese. Diba? Spoiler. And yeah, it's easy to read, rom-com feels. It is just a good book to read if you want to get out of your reading slump kasi it's just so easy to read. Next, I read The Song of Aquiles. So, I made a review about this na, pero written review siya sa website ng The Benillion. If you want to read that, you can. Pero ang summarized version niya ito. It's a retelling of Achilles and Patroclus' story, yung The Iliad ni Homer. Na I didn't know what to expect at first. Tapos, in a structural sense, the book was just beautifully and brilliantly written. When I was reading it, I got the sense na every word, every sentence, every paragraph was meticulously placed and it has intent talaga. It was put there for a reason, may intent. I sense that Miller put a lot of effort into this book and it's just, as the people would say it nga, Miller put her whole pussy on this. Which she did. Grabe. Swagay ko lang, di ba? I'm a features writer. Tapos, as a features writer, I have this sense of rhythm na I use when I'm writing. Kasi, yun nga, it helps me visualize and hear what I am writing. So parang nakikita mo yung flow ng article, and it's just, you kind of piece things together, put there, parang puzzle pieces siya, parang siyang building something. And in this book, it's like that. Parang you saw the rhythm, you saw the building, you saw the foundation from the ground up to now, na it has become this masterpiece. You saw that, and it's just beautiful. Though may issue ako, and I think I'm not the best person to say it kasi I am not gay. I want more insight to the character's journey of falling in love from childhood to adulthood, tapos yung how it affects their fate, kasi nag-focus yung libro sa mismong fate lang. And it's, I mean, valid naman na point yun kasi nga having that fate is important to Achilles' life. Pero ayun nga, it's a love story. It's dapat na na-balance out yung love story and the fate part. Kulang yung self-realization and diving deeper into those feelings ni Achilles and Patroclus. Parang nawawash over ng beautifulness ng words and the way it was written, yung kulang ng diving deeper into the relationships. Next, August to September. So one of the first things I've read in August is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So let me tell you, I did not expect this book. Hindi ko na-expect yung prompt niya kasi I really thought that it was a book about a woman who is like this #femme fatale heroine. Dawag doon, yung parang meron siyang 7 husbands na pinatay niya lahat para may pera siya. Which is, I would like to read that. If you're an author if you know a book that does that, please comment below. Pero I want that book, but going at it, siya. It's about like an autobiographical journalist-like approach. It's about Evelyn Hugo recalling and telling the story of her, 7 husbands, the story behind those 7 husbands, and how it relates to her, her career as a Hollywood bombshell. It talks about the hardships of being a woman, abuse and violence, manipulating the media, being gay in their time in America. Tapos parang na-talk over din yung Stonewall riots and all that. It is a book with heavy issues, pero yun nga, very ironic nga kasi it's very fast-paced then and easy to read. Tapos it's the type of book you cannot put down once you get your nose into it. Kaya I read this in 3 days. Although 3 days is very slow din. But I'm a busy woman. Dahil maarte ako, I have issues. Yung main conflict niya, yung mystery niya sa gitna, weak. Hindi naman very weak. Well, yeah, it's very weak. Tapos yung build-up niya, if you can call it a build-up, it's not a build-up. It fell flat. It's flat. I mean, for me, the love story, the drama behind them, plus the Hollywood part was enough for me. You don't need to put that. Parang Jenkins Reid decided to add something that for me isn't just for my taste. It just felt unnecessary to the story. Because everything just went staggery after the car crash scene. Felt out of place. Or well, if not out of place, it's a situation not enough for Evelyn Hugo's story. Parang Evelyn Hugo is this big person. Parang, yun nga, malaking character siya talaga in the book, which is title character nga siya, diba? So parang that car crash scene, hindi siya enough to move Evelyn Hugo's story. This book has the potential of read again quality to it. It's just very entertaining. And trigger warning lang talaga to sexual violence and abuse kasi it was just really hard to read for me. Kasi it's like all of your nightmares coming to words. It was scary, it was frightening, but yeah, once you get through that, it's okay. And it's just ang cute ng relationship talaga dyan with Celia St. James. Oh my god! Very yun, death by 1,000 cuts. Whoa! Next, A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. So, I read this for our stage management class. So, pinili siya ng prof namin kasi Henrik Ibsen's, this work of his, kasi very specific siya with the set design. Nakasulat talaga yung kung ano itsura ng set, kung ano yung mga ilaw, kung ano yung costume at saka props. Kaya very easy siya if you're starting out to be a stage manager. Anyway, yun nga, reading it, it's a good read if you want the type of play that breadcrumbs its way, what it is about. Yung first and second act niya kasi, nakikita mo yung relationship ni Nora and Torvald and yung dynamic nila. Tapos, sa third act, that's when all hell breaks loose talaga. Parang, boom! Yeah. Ayun, that's when Nora realizes na she was the doll trapped inside a doll's house. And yung mga nag-trap sa kanya doon is all the men in her life. So, she decided na, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be that girl anymore. I'd like to say na this play was quite ahead of its time and really brought up issues of how women are trapped in these certain boxes and how these boxes implies how they are supposed to be acting and how women feel suffocated being trapped inside this. So parang naging statement yung pag-leave ni Nora from that marriage. Kasi nga diba 1860s na set to, and leaving a marriage is basically like social suicide noon. So that was a really big statement of how women are just trapped in a life you don't get to decide. That's just hard, you know? Next na I read, well, it's not really read, I just listened to it. I listened to the audiobook of the Hunger Games trilogy. I swear to God. Okay, so getting to listen the trilogy audiobook after a stressful day of school was the highlight of my day. It is the best part of my day. It is what kept me sane. I listen to this every 3 to 5 a.m. in the morning, ganyan. Kasi I sleep at 5. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Kasi this ignited my long-awaited #District Club woo phase. 2014 phase kasi hindi ko na nagawa yun ng 2014, but I just love the Hunger Games. Kaya nga bumili ako ng pre-love books niya. Ayan, tatlo yan. Hunger Games, Catching Fire, tapos Mockingjay. The books are just incredible, mind-blowing, show-stopping, so brilliantly written that I made a Spotify playlist of all my favorite chapters from all the 3 books, plus a playlist for my one and only #The Boy with the Bread, #Peter Millerk. Hi Peter. Before I end my Hunger Games review, I'm going to say something very controversial, but hear me out. So I know Gale was a war criminal, but I do empathize with him. I get why he was that. Kasi I understand why he, as Katniss would describe him, as filled with fire, anger, ganon. Kasi, I'm not defending his action ha. Kasi, when your whole life is filled with heartache, fear, poverty, tas grief for your loved ones, and grief for the childhood you should have had, you tend to be a bitter, angry man. Tapos, you get to be angry with the world. You valid yun. You get to be angry with the world, everyone around you, and to the situation you are in. And Gale, at a young age, is very smart. At a young age, I emphasize, a young age. He is very smart and he knows who to be angry at. So, ayun nga, he knows the culprit of his situation. And I understand why he did those horrendous things. And I empathize with him for doing that. Kasi once you get the chance to fight back, to take revenge from all the years of hurt that you have felt, tapos you're not like this Pita, honorable Pita, innocent, light Pita, you take that chance, you take all your anger, and once you get that power, you use that anger and power to hit back. I get that and I cannot blame him. I cannot blame Gale. He is the product of his situation and environment and also his hurt. I cannot blame him. Please, look at me. Look at me. This is not him. Please. And yes, he is still a war criminal and I'm not defending his actions, pero he is also a young, broken man. Please don't hate me. Please. October. I only read plays for this month for school. Kasi, ayun, I'm a theater major. One of the first things I read is Macbeth. It's also our first Shakespeare piece that I read fully. So, yay. And as expected, very dramatic, gory, ang daming, trigger warning lang, ang daming murders na nangyari dito. What I appreciate about this one is how Shakespeare writes all the scary vulnerabilities of man in such an intricate and beautifully formed way. Like, he describes feelings, he describes concepts beautifully. Like, very poetic nga. It just makes you see the beauty of the monstrosity of the human psyche. Diba? Like, what? My only criticism na is, why did Lady Macbeth suddenly go poof? Bakit nawala si Lady Macbeth? Yun lang yung criticism ko. Although, my professor answered it na kasi na parang Lady Macbeth had the potential to take over the whole play nga. Kaya Shakespeare had to kill her off, which is, bakit mo kailangan patay? Pwede ka naman gumawa ng sequel. Di ba? Tatalon ni Rogelio Sicat. This is a Filipino play. Ano na siya, one-actor play. Yun nga, we read this for our midterms in our directing class. It's one of the saddest pieces I have ever read. Kasi it's about a drunk jeepney driver talking about the news he read about a guy committing suicide. Tapos, he creates these scenarios about how the person did what they did. Tapos, he is putting his place into that. Parang nakikita niya yung similarities of him and that person. Yeah, it's very heavy. It talks about the socioeconomic disparities in the Philippines, tapos how debt and poverty and minimum wage affects the laborers of the normal Filipino. So, yun nga, it's a very hard piece, depressing piece, pero it's an eye-opener nga to what is still going on and prevalent in the Philippines. No to jeepney phase out. So next, mga kuneho ni Miguel Antonio Alfredo Luarca. Haba ng pangalan. So I read this for our acting class, and it's basically just like Squid Game, if you have seen Squid Games. Tapos, in a Filipino setting lang, all the characters were invited into one place. Tapos yung goal nila, yung order nila lahat is to kill the right person, which is, what is right anyway? It's a very, for 40 million pesos, yung prize is 40 million pesos, diba? They're fighting for money. It's quite a brutal piece to read, pero na-balance out siya with the banter ng mga characters. It's just so sad, most heartbreaking piece I've ever read. And yun nga, shout out to mga co-actors ko, si Jack, pangit po Jack, si Janji, tsaka si Mao. Salamat po sa pag-help sa akin kahit ang pangit na ginawa ko. Salamat po talaga for including me. Thank you guys! Next, Prinsesa ng Mga Bilang by Dr. Layeta Bukoy. So, huwag niyo tingnan. Also, update na nagkasugat din po ako dito kasi from a biking accident from my #katangahan. Sakit na lang mo ng kote. And at first, I was very confused. Kasi, very confused kasi ang dami nangyayari. And I needed a moment. Very fictional, fantasy-like na play. Na parang may labyrinth siya with doors. Tapos yung characters lang with the specific numbers can open the doors. Prinsesa nga ng Mga Bilang. It's an allegorical play pala where each character symbolize something. And in this case, yung symbolizes nila is love. Different types of love. So we have the sacrificial kind of love, the toxic kind of love, the lusting love. We got the chance to direct and act using this piece, so that's kind of fun. Pero, oh my god, I also got to see the writer of this piece, si Dr. Layeta Bukoy, on Zoom. Pero hindi siya sa project na to, on a different project yon. Booked in Bishi. Kita ko siya on Zoom, pero syempre hindi ko nakausap. Nakita ko lang siya, tapos narinig yung boses niya. Pero I'm okay with that. Hindi din naman ako mapagsalita kasi I am shy. I am, mahinhin ear ako na po. Next, November. Isa lang nabasa ko ng November, which is Othello. And I read this for class then, for our theater readings of Shakespeare class. I like this piece better than Macbeth. Kasi it's easier to digest. Tapos, yung drama niya, very interesting talaga. Tapos si Iago, yung character ni Iago, napaka-cruel niya. Kasi Iago, and cruel and brilliant niya kasi he uses his mind, his wits, his words to manipulate Othello. Diba? And yun nga, may discourse nga na bakit daw hindi Iago yung title ng play kung mas maraming ang linya si Iago kaysa kay Othello. Pero for me, in my opinion, I think deserve ni Othello yung title ng play na to kasi it's his life being told. It's his marriage with Desdemona, his experience with being a Moor in a white-dominated society, his insecurities with all that. I truly appreciate with the two pieces of Shakespeare works I have read kasi it shows the gray areas nga and the disgusting, awful, loathsome things that humans do in the way that they think. So yun, Shakespeare, you are brilliant. December. Santa baby, if you're really there, you could be here last year. In December, I've read only 2 things as of December 27. I read first Normal People by Sally Rooney. It's just a simple, free-flowing plot. It's literally about 2 people, Marian and Connell, being entangled around each other's life and, you know, experiencing the good and bad that comes with it. And I really truly appreciate this book kasi it has a very intimate feel. Tapos when I was reading it, it felt as if I was reading like diary entries of a friend. The way it was written by Sally Rooney, it makes sense kasi yun nga, she wrote it without quotation marks. It makes sense kasi nga sabi nga ni Rudy na the book is fictional, so should everything else be with a quotation mark? So gets yon. It's good, pero at first I was confused kasi without the quotation marks, you don't know who is speaking. Please, my brain is stupid. What? Who? But then once you get the hang of it, you understand. Plus naitawid niya naman with he said, she said, mga things na ganyan. Plus, the fact that Rooney is a screenwriter, this piece just makes sense. Her writing style makes sense. Kasi, ayun nga, when I was taking a script writing class, we were taught to use dialogues and stage directions briefly and wisely. Na we don't need to put grand words or unnecessary imagery in them kasi nga, first, stage direction siya. No one reads the stage direction except the stage managers. The audience don't see the stage directions. Tapos, I don't know if it's the same with screenwriting. Pero the way I know how scripts are written, they are based solely on dialogue. Yung dialogue ng characters are the ones supposed to move the story forward. In scripts, you don't put descriptions on what the characters are supposed to feel. Marian nods her head and does yung mga descriptive words na parang she closes her fist and pouts her mouth, mga ganyan. You don't put that in scripts kasi that's not your job. You're a writer, you are not a director, and you are not the actor. So going back, ewan ko kung related yung pinagkasabi ko. This book doesn't use flowery words. Very simple and honest siya. Straight to the point talaga siya. And it's like how a normal person would converse and describe things. The ending then is the creme of the crop. Just say what it is. It doesn't give you an epilogue, much like in real life, kasi wala naman pong epilogue ang buhay. It has this it is what it is energy. And this book was just a breath of fresh air kasi I haven't read anything like it. And this is the first Rudy book I've read, so I'm excited to read her other works pa. Pero I don't recommend this book if you're going out of a reading slump kasi medyo mabagal siya. Little. Lastly, this December, I read Spanish Love Deception. Okay. So this book is like the Titanic, huh? You know, 1 minute you're just in the ship, having fun, eating prawns, and ganyan. Tapos, biglang, you got hit into an iceberg. Tapos, that's just a slow descent to your doom. So parang the whole time you're like, no. So yan, yun yung na-feel ko. Diba? Very descriptive ako. The book is essentially, ba't may jeep? Wala naman kami sa highway. The book is essentially a 2000s rom-com. Tapos, meron siyang fake dating, workplace romance, forced to share only one bed, pretend to be my BFGF to this important event trope with a Spanish twist. And I like that. But I say the good before the bad. It has great spicy scenes. Very great spicy scenes. Hot. And parang it's for the besties with the Preach King. So, hi guys. Hi guys. Nice to meet you. So, the book's first half was good. The tension between the characters, Aaron and Catalina, were really entertaining. Tas, minsan may pagka-corny and cringy. Pero, very cute pa din. Gusto ko yung push and pull nila. Tapos, you get to appreciate then the way the characters are written kasi both of them has distinct voices in the way their dialogues are built. But then, the second part of the book, after the almost kissing scene, that's where it all went boom! Downhill talaga. That's when the iceberg hits. Kasi, after that, the chapter following that, Aaron, the true Aaron was erased. The Aaron that was established on the first half of the book was gone. It felt like two completely different Aarons. Parang, hello? Huh? This is not him. This is not you. Look at me. This is not you. Ayun, nawala yung build up na sexual tension, nawala yung exciting na ganon, nawala lahat, nawala yung seductive teasing nature. Although yun nga, great spicy scenes, pero kasi lately pa na-establish ng author si Armas yung background ni Aaron. Late siya, tapos weak din, and gusto ko naman yung mga hashtag misunderstood hard exterior but soft interior guy na trope. Only when it's done right. Pero it was done carelessly. Nawala talaga yung Aaron na gusto ko sa first part. Yun nga, the last 10 chapters plus the epilogue. I'm not saying that it was bad, pero it could have been better. It could have been polished more. Kasi it turned into this hashtag live, laugh, love. Life is like a rock. It's full of mysteries. Na ganon. Full of quotable quotes. Kineme. It's just corny. Ang corny. corny. Tapos, ang corny nga ng ending. Tapos, ang weak ng ending. And the resolution ng final conflict nila is just flat, weird. For me, naging preachery kasi siya. I mean, and I hate saying this, naging tunog, too fictional for me, parang hindi siya rooted on something real. Although it is a fiction nga. Pero ayun, it's just weird, yung resolution na yun. I mean, there are other ways to angle that resolution, about sa HR thing, pero yun nga, it's not rooted in reality talaga. So it just felt weird for me, I guess siguro kasalanan yun kasi nabasa ko yung normal people which is rooted in reality a bit. So, ayun. Tapos nagulatan lang ako na may na-add na bagong character na pahabol, Diyos ko Lord. So, yun nga. Sabi rin naman ng friend ko, hi Marga. Sabi ni Marga na daw, it was her first book daw ni Armas. So, ayun, I guess I can forgive her for that. I can forgive newly published writers. O, diba? I'm a good person. Tapos next, ang bala ko basahin is The Love Hypothesis. Kaso hindi ko pa na-startan. Makastartan ko na lang bukas. Yun yung sabi ni Mamer na maganda din daw. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. Kung mahahabol pa. But yeah, that's all the books I've read in 2021. And the plays I've read in 2021. So yun, I would like to thank myself for reading. I would like to thank my Mamer and Marguch for giving me book recs. Mga professor ko na nagbigay ng libro din. Mga PDF versions. Hi guys! And I'm excited to read more books in 2022 if I get the time kasi nag-thesis na kami mga Mars. So, that's kind of like, yeah, that's basically it. That's my books in 2021. And this is me. Tanggalin nga natin yan. Ang ko na siya, mahinhin, femme fatale era, 2.0, 2022. So, yun lang naman. I got nothing more to say. And my throat is on fire. Ha! Charot. Yun lang. Okay, bye!